Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist, and I'm glad you could join me for this episode. Today, I have a very special guest with me. Kenzie Giziewski is here, and I teased a few weeks ago that I was going to get her on the podcast, and so I actually made it happen. Kenzie is here because for a couple different reasons. The main reason is that she is an awesome person, and everyone should get to know Kenzie. But she also is on the Conference Council for Youth Ministry, which is a conference-wide council that oversees youth events in our conference in both North and South Dakota. It has on it both youth delegates and adult delegates from around the conference. And Kenzie, do you represent the Southeast District?
That's actually been our most populated thing because we've had people from Parkston and Mitchell, so we're pretty heavy in our region.
Well, and our district is the most populated of the four districts, so it does make sense that we might be a little well represented on the council. But so Kenzie, you've completed 1 year on CCYM,
Yes.
and you were recently re-elected.
Yes.
At annual conference, right? So she will be heading into her second year on CCYM this coming year. And so, Kenzie, maybe let's start a little bit of what made you decide to apply? Because to be on CCYM, you actually have to go through an application process. So what made you decide that that was something you would like to do?
Well, it was during youth group, and I'm pretty sure I've heard it before because Tiffany has brought it up before. And like the year previous, she brought up this application, and I didn't really pay it any mind. But then we had another year, and she kind of seemed like she's like nudging you kind of you're like, maybe you should apply to this. So I told her I was interested in an application. So I went through the whole process, and I didn't really know what I was signing myself up for.
That's a level of faith in Tiffany right there. If you say so.
Yeah, but she gave me the application and I did it online and through everything. Yeah, and then our first big event was LTC and summer meeting. That's where I first met everybody.
So LTC is one of our summer camps. It's called LTC, short for Leadership Training Camp. It's one of our high school summer camps, and the CCYM are in charge of sort of doing the planning for it. And so why don't you tell me a little bit about your first experience with LTC?
Well, I remember getting there. So before LTC happens, we have our first summer meeting, which is like the Friday. So everyone comes on Sunday for LTC and you stay till the next Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm there a week where everyone's there for more than like 5 days. So we're planning stuff. And the first night you get kind of a get to know everybody. And it was just a shocking experience to be full. Like all these people, as soon as they came in, they had such like a lively, happy energy. And they're like, we're so happy you're here. And I've had like similar stuff, but this was just like such a different thing. It was like really, it was really cool.
Felt like you found some kindred spirits.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
And so what sort of things does CCYM do during LTC that kind of sets them apart from a regular camper?
So we start with elections. There's different positions in CCYM. You have the chairperson or the president and the vice chairperson or the vice president. But I was able to share a position on the YSF fund, which stands for the Youth Service Fund, with Jordan Platt, another CCYM member from Mitchell. And
I was his pastor once too. I remember Jordan when he was, a little bit bigger than this, but yeah.
Yeah, so I've been helping with that. So every year at LTC, I think they do coin words every year.
Yeah, I think so.
And we had two big cabins this year. And you battle against each other and everyone brings coins and you raise money. So as YSF, we plan each. So we do a thing similar at DEC Youth and a thing similar at Winter Connection. So all our like big CCYM events will have like a thing to raise money for. And me and Jordan's job is to find a place for all this money to go towards. And I think ours for our first LTC was for a suicide prevention program.
Oh, nice.
So I think that's what we raised money for. But it's just finding like really fun ways, because the coin wars was so much fun. You had like a little competitive edge, but you're also going towards a good cause. So yeah.
I remember back in the when I was attending things like that as a youth pastor one year, I want to say one of the CCYMers ended up having to kiss a cow if they raised like a certain amount.
Yeah.
That was memorable.
No, no, we had something not quite as drastic, but we at DAC Youth, our event was you put money in a jar we had certain pictures of people. So me and Jordan for YSF, and then I think we had 2 other youth and 2 other adults. And whoever had the most money in their bucket, they had to get pied on the stage at DAC Youth. So everyone would watch that. So not kissing a cow. But,
did you get pied? Or
I did not get pied. I kind of did want to, but yeah, I think 1 adult and 1 youth got pied.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been pied in the face before. It's not that pleasant. Yeah.
No, it didn't seem that pleasant after like Emerson from North Dakota, she got pied and she just had whipped cream everywhere, and I'm like, maybe that wasn't for me.
Yeah, I think if you know that you can go and shower immediately, then it's probably okay. But I think both times that I've had that happen, I've not been able to leave. And so you just have it like in your hair and yeah. But so you do CCYM, you get elected, you go, the first thing is summer meeting, then you go to LTC, the summer camp. And then in the fall into the winter, then you have DAC Youth. Okay, share more about what DAC Youth is.
So I had been to DAC Youth beforehand, and I think I did learn there that the people there were CCYM people, and I'm like that. And so when I got the application, I'm like, that does sound like familiar. But CCYM, we are in charge of the stage when people are coming in, and we get there a night before everybody, and we're putting together the name tags we're sorting through shorts, we have to do a bunch of preparation and like prepare everything, and we have tables set up, and I remember one thing I had to do the night of DAC Youth, you have to send someone out in the cold South Dakota winter and show them where to park, and I was the lucky soul that's on the street corner. And we had 1 other CCYM adult. He would continue to come out and check on me. He's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm cold."
And you're like from the furthest south you can be in the
like in Aberdeen. So it was pretty chilly.
Yeah. Maybe because you were newer, you drew the short straw on that one.
Well, I was told I love me a good like orange reflective vest, because I got to wear one before, because I do something similar with track to show what an event we have that. So I was promised me a vest that I never got. So
that is disappointing.
They said it was somewhere, but they couldn't find it. So I didn't get to wear my orange reflective vest.
You should say no vest, no deal.
Exactly. So maybe I'll say that this year.
There you go.
Yeah.
So then that happens, and I know that's been in November. I think this year they have scheduled it earlier in October.
It's in October, yes.
And we usually have a group from Yankton that goes to that.
We're pretty consistent about that.
Yeah. So that's exciting. And then you have one more event, right, in the winter?
Winter Connection.
Okay.
Yes. I unfortunately was not able to go to that, but I heard a lot about that. So that is an event that goes by each district. Each district has a different winter connection. And I know my aunt, Pastor Tara Bush, she's the pastor in Ethan. And a couple, CCYM people were there, and she was telling me about it. So I was not able to go that one.
I mean, and being a busy high school student,
Mhm.
like these are big things that you commit on top of the things that you're doing here in Yankton.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the biggest benefit of being on CCYM this past year?
I think the people I got to meet, like I'm always like so scared when I go to talk to them again. I'm like, we're not gonna be able to, and we pick up like right where we left off. And I'm like, there's no like weird awkwardness. Like we're just back to joking around and laughing right away. Like I met some incredible people from all over and that I never would have been able to meet without CCYM. So it's definitely the people I've got. Yeah.
I would say that's always been in my background in youth ministry and camping ministry. That's always been to me the biggest strength is in your small town, wherever you are, you might be one of the only teenagers that has a real commitment to God and faith. But going to things like camp and
Exactly.
to, getting involved with CCYM, you meet other students that you share that with, and you can have those conversations.
Yes.
And I remember when I was a youth pastor and I had a youth group that had quite a few kids that went to all the conference events, and they also played sports. And no matter who they played, they would know someone on the other team that they went to camp with, or that they went to hey, how's it going? And it's like, how do you know so many people? Well, we're connected. That's a big part of it.
I know there. No, I had to go out to like Spearfish and Sturgis for a basketball game, and two of the CCYM adults are from out there, and I never would have known anyone from Spearfish and Sturgis, and
Yeah.
so those connections like all across our conferences.
No matter where you go, you will
Exactly.
know someone.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's huge. And because of CCYM, you also attend annual conference.
Yes.
And so what does CCYM do during annual conference?
Well,
Because I was there, but we were not
Yeah.
like Kenzie did not sit at the Yankton table. She was there as CCYM, and so they were kind of doing their own thing.
Well, we participated like most of the other people did. I know we helped out kind of with conference. We were kind of thrust into, I know I got to pick up pieces of paper on the table, which was fine by me. But I feel like you're on the like same level as all the adults there.
Because you
And
guys get to vote, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're voting members of the conference, CCYM. And I saw you up on the stage. What were you guys doing up there?
We got to give an award to two people up there. So yeah. So our president, Shannara, she gave the speech, but I got to present an award to someone. So it was pretty fun on stage because we had Sarah McManus and she looked so happy and joyful when she got her award. And that was really cool.
And another Yankton connection. And Sarah got the Youth Worker of the Year award.
Yes.
So CCYM does 2 awards every year. One is Youth Worker of the Year, and those anybody can nominate, right? But it's through the CCYM that the person that is honored is chosen. And then the other one is Youth Worker Hall of Fame. Is that right? I don't remember.
No, because she wasn't there.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
That's why. But Sarah was there.
Yes.
And so that's always one of the highlights of annual conferences. There's various awards that are given out throughout the days. And those two in particular, I always really love because my background was youth ministry. And so to always recognize the hard work of people that invest in our youth, I think that's incredible because without people doing that, we don't have a future.
Exactly.
And so it's really important. What were some of the things that stood out to you in annual conference this year from your perspective as a young person on CCYM, but just what are things that when you think about annual conference, what do you think about?
Well, I remember like the first thing we did when we finally got to the Legacy Church where it was held at was worship. And I feel like every time I like walk into a like huge church, I'm just in awe of like its size. And then they had a wonderful worship team. And that always blows me away. Like when there's like a wonderful worship team, it's just amazing. And they had wonderful vocals. And like you come in and they're singing and there's so many people there. And then I saw some Yankton people. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's some guys I know there too. Cause I'm like, I feel everyone is talking about, I'm so excited to see everyone. I haven't seen in a while. And I'm like, I have no idea who else is going. Yeah. So it was cool to see people I did know there.
Yeah.
Yeah. the worship was, and they had some excellent speakers there. I like some of their stories, like yeah, they had some really good speakers.
I really liked this year with the
Mhm.
TED Talk
Yes.
style and having them speak about 20 minutes. Honestly,
Mhm.
that's about all I can focus.
Yes. Yeah.
But I agree with you that the people that they had speak this year, one, the topics were just really like
Mhm.
powerful. I mean, we're talking about addiction, we were talking about human trafficking, we're
Mhm.
talking about indigenous peoples, we're talking about just really real
Yes.
things and
Mhm.
having and the church also, the bishop offered that apology for anybody who's been abused within the church. And I just felt like proud to be a part of a church that didn't
Yes.
shy away from these are things that are happening in our world and in our
Mhm.
conference. I mean, to hear about human trafficking in North Dakota and you think, oh, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen in the
But then
Dakotas.
she brought up all the statistics and everything, and your
Yeah.
eyes are just opened.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I would agree with you that I really enjoyed that and the worship as well. One thing about annual conference is that everyone sings.
Exactly.
It's surround sound.
Mhm.
Everyone's singing full voice. Everyone is truly in the moment, and I think that's what part of what makes it so special is, um, yeah, everyone's in it,
Yes.
present.
Mhm.
And so, Kenzie, what would you say to someone who was interested, a young person interested in potentially doing something like CCYM? What advice would you give them? What counsel would you give them? How would you prepare them for
Well,
that?
I'd probably explain to them what you have to do, because you only have really 3 major events, and then we had annual conference, but you do 3 major events that you help lead. And I don't know, like, I feel like a judge of I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like anyone can join CCYM. There was like all the applications we got, there was just so many different people, and it's wonderful to have different people on
Yeah.
there. You can't have a bunch of the same persons. Yeah.
Right. It's our variety that makes it strong,
Mhm.
right?
And I felt like, yeah, there was a bunch of variety within us. Like none of us were the same. Like we had similar interests, and we were all able to get along. But I feel like if you are interested and you feel the calling, I feel like you should apply. Yeah.
Yeah. And how would you say that your experience in the church and in CCYM and conference events, how has that helped your faith and how has that informed what you believe about God and how you live that out?
Mhm. Well, I feel like CCYM I've had my faith, but I feel like it's just strengthened it upon like all means. When I'm there, I just feel so close to God, and just certain things they do at LTC, like you have Silent Night, and that was just the most earth-shattering, like wonderful experience ever. Yeah.
I finally accepted my calling to ministry on an LTC silent night because there is something special about it where you cannot run away from God when
Yeah,
you take some of those extra distractions away and you
exactly.
really are face to face with God in that
Mhm.
time. Yeah. So I'm always a little shy and weary now of Silent Night at LT. What else is going to happen?
Yeah.
um, but well, I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, I've been so impressed with you in the time I've gotten to know Kenzie through confirmation.
Mhm.
Um, were you in my first?
I think we
My
were your
first
first
class, I think we were
confirmation
all
class.
masked for that
Yes.
whole entire year.
Mhm.
And so, and you're going to be a senior this
Yes.
year? Oh, I'm not ready for that. Because that'll be, I started when you were a freshman then, and then, so
Yes.
you'll be my first class of going all the way through high
Mhm.
school with being here. I'm getting sentimental. Um, and so Kinsey, what are you planning to do? Do you know moving beyond? I mean, I think that's as you are now becoming a senior, I'm just going to prep you for this question because you're going to be asked it 18,000
Yes, I
times.
have been asked it already. Well, I've been planning, I want to attend Iowa State, and I want to go into veterinarian medicine. I want to be a veterinarian.
I think
So,
that's really
yeah.
cool. And a calling from God as well, especially as, you know, I think we all know that our pets in particular are part of the family, and so to care for them is part caring for God's creation.
Yeah.
And I think that's a wonderful and difficult calling as well. But that's very exciting.
Yes.
But we have a whole nother year before that happens.
Exactly. I have to keep reminding myself that. Yeah.
I will say senioritis can be a very difficult thing, especially in the spring where you just want to move on to the next stage. But there's a lot of good things in the next year in store for you, I think. And so if you want to get to know Kenzie a little bit more or learn more about CCYM or the opportunities we have within the conference and beyond for our youth, please, she's in church most Sundays. And I think it would be great to introduce yourself and to tell her congratulations. One more thing I wanted to talk about is you're actually wearing your CCYM necklace. I noticed that. So do you want to share a little bit about what that necklace is and the symbol? Do you know? Or?
Yes, it's the Jerusalem cross. So every new member, I should say, of CCYM at LTC, you will be given the Jerusalem cross and I felt so bad because I forgot to bring it on annual conference, but I try to wear it at every CCYM event. So
yeah. So and I think that's been going on for years and years. That's usually how I could identify who the CCYM members were anytime I was at camp. I'm like, which one's wearing the necklace? Because and you have your DAC youth shirt on as well. So she's really decked out today and youth things. But for me, youth ministry has always been such a powerful place to see God at work, because I think there is just something special about the way that teenagers in particular engage with God. It's very honest, it's very open, it's very you're still asking the questions, you're figuring things out, and I'm so grateful for Kenzie in investing in youth ministry here in the Dakotas and being a part of that and having her voice be lifted up, and she's been such a positive influence in our youth group and in our church. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for all that you do and for who you are, because pretty awesome. Kenzie had to unfortunately put up with me the entire ride to Bismarck and back because we had to go up early for meetings and things, and so she got stuck with me, but she managed very well. She did not roll her eyes at me once, and I deserved it more than once, I can assure you. But I just before we kind of wrap this up, I want to just share a few things that are happening in the life of the church. One, this Sunday after worship, we're going to go bless the community garden out on West City Limit Roads. If you've not been out there, we have a garden. We have 2 plots, and they're actually even marked with our cross and flame. So it makes it a little bit easier to find, but we are always in need of people to help watch the garden, to weed it, to water it, and to tend to it, because as the season goes on, we're going to start getting produce from it. And this is something the garden blesses a few different areas of ministry that we do. One is, the care casseroles. So any tomatoes and onions and peppers, they make salsa, they make spaghetti sauce, they make different things from the produce in the garden. And those care casseroles are then frozen and given out to whoever might need them. We've given out over 500 care casseroles in the last year, which is pretty impressive. And so the garden helps to supplement some of that. We also give away produce here at the church, and we give produce to some of our different local nonprofits that are helping to meet the needs of those who have food insecurity. And so it is a vital ministry of the church, and we are really looking to get more people involved with it. Right now, there's just a very small number of people who've been doing the bulk of the work. And we know that there are those of you out there who like to be outside, who like to garden, who like to get into the dirt and really see the fruit of your labor. You can quite literally see the vegetables of your labor in this. And so, but we're going to go offer a blessing and just get you out there to see it and to see that it's there and what it would entail, because sometimes, and I don't know if this is true about you, but if I don't know what something is, well, that's not true of you. You did CCYM without having any clue what it was. But for me, I want to know the details before I commit to something. And so this is an opportunity for you to do that. Next week, July 1st through the 5th, I am out of the office. That is my vacation week. I will be gone. We will not be doing a podcast. So the next podcast will happen in 2 weeks' time. If you have a need, please call the church office. We will make sure that someone can get a hold of you. If you have a pastoral need, we do have other pastors that we are connected with that can help meet any need that might arise in that week. I will be back on July 7th for worship. We do have a baptism and worship that day, so it's going to be very exciting. You're going to want to be a part of that. So lots of exciting things coming up. I'm going to family camp. Kenzie, when is LTC this year?
It's because I know they moved it down a week.
So
I think I go at July 19th, so it's
Okay.
probably the 2 days after, so it starts the 21st.
So we have a lot of people that are heading to camp. I know that there's quite a few that are going when we are going to be at Ponce. There's some mini camps happening. I think there's a grandparents and me camp that we've got some people going to. So 'tis the season. So if you can be lifting up the people who are attending camp this summer in your prayers for safe travels and that God may bless them in that time, I think that would be wonderful. And then also, don't forget to be coming to worship or checking out our live streams or our Facebook where we post the sermons. We're in a series right now called Bible Stories for Grown-ups. And I've just been really excited to do this series. We talked about Noah's Ark last week. This week, I will warn you, it is one of my least favorite stories in all of Scripture. It's the binding of Isaac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I don't want to. I promise that I'm handling it in a way that the whole family can come. I'm not gonna focus on the really kind of not fun parts, but we're really gonna look at what does this story mean and how do we understand it and why is it in our Bible. And then the following week on the 7th, I'm really excited. It's Jonah.
Oh,
Right? Like that'll be a good one. And so it's fun to kind of take these stories that are really familiar and look at them in a little bit different way and ask questions that take us deeper into our faith because there's always something new to learn. So I hope that you are following along with us on this series. Also, this Sunday, I almost forgot, we're doing our mission offering for the Boys and Girls Club here in Yankton. We have both the Boys and Girls Club and the Academy operating here in Yankton. The Boys and Girls Club, $25 for their what is it called when you it's not subscription. That doesn't sound right. Their membership?
Yes.
Membership.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't compute. Which is an incredible value, especially for families that are already stretched to the max. This is a safe place for their kids to go. And they can do that by being supported by other organizations and people like you. That made me just sound like PBS right there. And people like you. And so this Sunday, along with our regular giving, if you are so moved to bring a little extra to give to the Boys and Girls Club, we will be taking that offering as well. And then finally, don't forget to sign your kids up for Vacation Bible School. That's happening in August 8th, 9th, and 10th in the evenings, and then worship on August 11th down at Riverside Park. Jointly with UCC and Trinity Lutheran, we're doing the whole VBS, all three churches together this year. And I'm really excited about that. There are some rumors of some really exciting things that might take place, especially if we get a bunch of kids signed up. So if you haven't gotten your kids signed up for that, make sure you do. You're not going to want to miss it. And so again, Kenzie, thanks for joining me today. And we'll see you next time. God bless. Thank you for listening to this episode of What's Going On. We'd love to have you join us for worship here at the church on Sundays at 10 a.m. You can also find us online via our website at firstumcyankton.org or search for us on YouTube.